Hello, everyone. I just got the impulse to come on live today. So, whoever is coming on live, I'm not announcing this beforehand. I just wanted to come on and share a really powerful message that was coming through today. Today is 11/11, and it is such a potent day of transformation, of intuition, of being tapped into some higher frequencies that I'm just getting all of these downloads and I'm like, I'm not even going to question it. I'm going to go right into this because it's something that feels so strong that I really want to speak to today. My goal is to activate you into action today. If you are watching this, if you are someone who is thinking about entrepreneurship or you're wanting to achieve a goal or wherever you are in your life, if you're looking for real transformation, this is going to be for you. So, yes, I see some thumbs up. If you're here, give me some love in the comments. Let me know where you're coming from, where you're joining from. I cannot see your name unless you grant Ecamm Live access for me to see your comments. So I'm going to be coming back around in the next probably few days. I have my book signing coming up tomorrow, but I just really felt that this message was so strong that I literally, got dressed, got my makeup on, and I implemented right away. And that's actually what I'm going to be talking about today is some of the success habits that I have learned, that I have implemented, the things that I wish I would have known 10 years ago when I started this journey. And yes, I see some hearts, I see some love. Let me know who's here, who's on with me. I would love to connect with you here. Feel free to ask questions. As always, my lives are always just kind of an open forum. So ask questions. I'm here as with an open heart to really be of service here because I wish I would have known these things that I'm going to be sharing and teaching you today 10 years ago because it would have really accelerated my path. So what was really coming through right now was that there is this gap. The first principle I want to talk about is there's this gap between when you get an idea, an impulse, a download, something comes across your awareness, and then there is the time that it takes for you to actually implement that action. So there's this idea, impulse, download. Then you have how long does it take you to get to the point where you're actually taking action? So as an example, you might have an impulse come through that you really want to hire that coach. But then what happens? What is that gap in between? Right? It's all of the self-doubt, the oh, should I, shouldn't I? The indecision, the procrastination. It's all of that. It's all of the head trash, all of the things that are really preventing you from just doing it, right? Successful people take action. That is the first thing that one of the first principles I want to speak to today. So if you're over there and you know that you've been lingering on a decision and you keep coming back to it and you're like, should I, shouldn't I? You're asking everybody else in your world rather than trusting your impulse. This is what I want to activate in you today. I want you to ask yourself these questions. There is a payoff to procrastinating, to not taking action, to staying in your familiar environment. There is a payoff, right? It's comfortable. You have the same old stories that you're rehashing, the same identity that you get to plug into, and it's safe. It's familiar. And I want you to know that in order for you to get to that other side of your transformation, whatever that is, if it's a health journey, if it's an income goal, if it is a desire to, get back out there in the dating world, whatever that is, there is something in between this gap. This is where I come in. This is really where a lot of these blocks and internal shifts need to happen in order for you to open to receive what you're wanting in this future timeline. So what is that gap for you? In between, you have an impulse, and then maybe you go back to being the small version of yourself. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, well, what is my husband going to say? What is my dad or my sister or my brother or all these other people? We wind up, I call it, you're being in the waiting room of your life. Like when you're on Zoom and you're waiting for someone else to let you in to the call, you're in the waiting room. You're like hesitating. Oh, should I, shouldn't I? I'm not sure. Should I? And you're giving your power away to someone else, that you're like, hey, I'm just going to wait until this person lets me in the waiting room of my own life. This is meant to be a little bit triggering. So if you're getting triggered, it comes from love, trust me. I want to activate you into your greatness. This is why I'm here on this planet, is to help you unlock that power that you know is in your heart, that you know is in that future timeline of you being successful, of you already earning the money, having the body that you want, whatever that is, whatever that future outcome. So get really clear. What is your pattern that is delaying this path? I, as an example, got the download for this book, got right into action. That is a success habit, because I didn't say, oh, like, I can't do this, and how is this going to happen, and overthinking and all of those things. I just got into action. Every successful person that I've ever met, that I've ever interacted with, has this gap between the idea and the implementation or execution. It's like a millisecond, right? It's you trusting yourself and knowing that if you want to get to that goal, this is how you do it, by these micro decisions that you need to make with yourself, and not giving your power away to, oh, I'll wait for someone else to tell me it's okay. I'll wait for so-and-so to say, oh, you can invest in yourself. Yeah, it's okay. Nobody's going to tell you that. People around you in your familiar environment are going to say, are you crazy? Why are you doing that? Oh my gosh, this is what happened with me, right? I wanted to go and, be an entrepreneur, and my entire family said, are you crazy? My dad called me stupid. I got kicked out of my house. I was homeless. I literally had the worst case scenario happen, but I knew in my gut, and I trusted myself, and the desire was bigger than the fear, that I just took action, and I kept taking action. So where in your life are you doing this like kind of wishy-washy dance where you're like, oh, I'm going to wait for the new year. I'm going to wait for January 1st, and then I'll get into my routine, and then I'll do the things. Take action now. What is holding you back from just doing it now? Procrastination is one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage, because it has you thinking that, oh, I'll just put it off. Oh, I'll do it soon. Oh, I'll do it, some future timeline, and then you never do, right? So again, this is me just speaking the truth to really shake this pattern from you, because you've most likely had this pattern that has been serving you for years and years, and it's kept you safe and small and in your familiar comfort zone, because you probably have a story about yourself. This is kind of like, the first pillar is take action, and I'm going into these kind of micro pillars here, pillar 1A and B. Getting out of your familiar environment. You're gonna have people, naysayers. What do you think you're doing? How dare you think you can do this? We don't know you like that. We know you as a pharmacist. We know you as this person. When you start changing, when you start upgrading your life, you're gonna see people fall away. Trust me, you're gonna see it. And guess what? Let that go. You're probably seeing this happen with the eclipse energy. And if you're fighting it, and if you're gripping onto control, and all the signs are there, and the universe is like, hey, here's another opportunity. Here's a coach who can help you. Here's this new dating website, if that's what you're wanting to get out there. And you're ignoring it. You're avoiding it. You're doing everything else because you're afraid. I want to just speak to that and say, I get it. It's fucking scary to change. I get it. This is what I do. This is how I hold you, in the space of, you don't have to do it alone. As you're stretching yourself, as you're embodying the future version of yourself, which requires you to let go of something. It requires you to let go of the bullshit excuses, of all of the things that are keeping you safe right now and keeping you small in your old familiar environment and keeping you chained to this limited identity that however you define yourself after I am. Oh, well, I'm not good enough to do that. I can't possibly, right? All of those stories, all of those thoughts and beliefs that we replay over and over and over again, the past that we're unwilling to look at, that we're unwilling to let go of, because it's been such a familiar part of our identity. I'll give you a quick story. I grew up in a lot of abuse, physical, mental, emotional, and I was a victim for a very long time, up until 26 years old, when I had a coach call me out and say, this isn't working for you anymore. And he showed me that I was showing up as a victim. And therefore, I was attracting circumstances in my life that confirmed that subconscious identity. So, in order for me to take my power back, I had to own all of these parts of myself that were scary to look at. The parts of myself that I had grown so accustomed to and so familiar. I kept replaying the same stories over and over and over again. Oh, I was a victim of abuse. Oh, this happened, that happened. But there was no power in it, right? Because I was in the lowest frequency. Victimhood, shame, unworthiness is one of that frequency is one of the lowest frequencies that you can hold in your body. I always show this chart about David Hawkins. David Hawkins was a researcher who calibrated different levels of human consciousness, and he did it through muscle testing, calibrated, all different levels of consciousness. And what he found was that, look at where shame is. When you hold on to the past, when you hold on to shame and unworthiness and I'm not good enough and keep replaying the stories over and over again, you're suffering, right? You're in these lower frequencies. Most people have some form of unconscious guilt, unworthiness, shame that is literally dragging your energy down, that's keeping you looping in these vicious cycles of self-sabotage, keeping you gridded in your familiar environment where life is not workable for you. This is the work that I do, is helping you to let go of these lower layers of guilt, shame, fear, grief, neutralizing fear so that you're not totally frozen when you have to go make that decision to take action. There's a nervous system response that happens when you have to go make a decision, right? So fight, flight, freeze, all of those things are at play when you're moving from your familiar environment into the unknown. And again, you hit that, it's called the fear barrier, the terror barrier, where you're about to make that decision because the unknown is scary and you're afraid to leave the familiar, you're afraid to let go of that identity, of those stories, you're afraid to step into your power. But that's where the gold is. That is where all of the things that you've been wanting are on the other side of that threshold. And the more you step into the unknown, the more you're rewarded. So where is that gap? I'd love to hear in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, I'm going to come circle back and, really, if you want some coaching here, I'm happy to be of service. What is that gap in between the idea, the impulse, and you actually taking action on whatever that is? Is it self-doubt? Is it indecision and wishy-washy? Are you giving your power away to waiting for some external circumstance for it to be okay for you to join the waiting room of the actual Zoom room of your life? Are you just kind of circling in the waiting room right now like, I guess I'll wait and see what happens in the new year. I guess I'll wait and see, what happens when my kids get to college. Do it now. It's costing you to not take action in your life. It's costing you to keep running these patterns, these unconscious patterns over and over again that are not serving you. There's no power in that. And again, I show you that chart to show you that when you're holding on to this density energetically, it's going to show up in how you are visible in the world, and whether it's in your business or with your family or leadership positions, it shows. So the more that you do this inner work to unblock all of these patterns that are not workable for your life, I'm saying this with complete love and compassion. When you do that inner work, your life unlocks. You open up the door that has been knocking. The universe has been knocking on your door and you haven't been answering, right? Pay attention to the signs around your life. Maybe this video is a sign and the universe is calling you to step into this elevated identity of being the creator of your life. I'm here to activate you, to awaken you. If I trigger you, that's okay. Be pissed at me. I'd rather you be mad and go into action than shrink back into, oh, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and like eventually something's going to happen. You need to be deliberate and declare, I am what? How do you define yourself at the end of that sentence? I am a pharmacist. I am a loser. How are you defining yourself? So think about these principles that I'm sharing. What is that gap in between the idea and the implementation? What are the stories that come after I am? Maybe you're saying like, oh, my business is a side hustle. My business is, this is like a side hustle. You're not calling it your business yet. How are you defining yourself after the words I am? This is key. It's going to just point to the subconscious identity of who you believe you are, the level of power that you're going to bring to your audience. And this all translates to your results. Because when you're in suffering, when you're in these lower levels, it's very hard to take action because you're in fear, you're in contraction, you're not able to get the momentum and the energy to be in flow, to be in these higher levels where you're taking action on your desires. So I'm here to plant the seed today for you to look in your own heart and to just notice in the next week or so, what signs are there that I'm feeling drawn to lean into? Whether it's a book that comes across you or that you keep seeing the same sign over and over and over again, or you keep hearing the same coach's name being, hey, have you heard of this person? You should work with this person, whatever. Be aware of the signs that are coming through for you. Because when you're open, when you see, when you're really beyond the fear and all of the other noise that's out there right now, when you tune into your own heart, when you meditate, when you're quiet with your own self, the fear quiets after a while and you're able to tune into that voice, that small whisper that's saying, hey, it's safe. It's safe for you to go for your dreams. It's safe for you to take action to invest in yourself. It's safe for you to step into this version of yourself, even though it's scary, even though the past has shown you time and time again that it's not safe. What action step do you need to take to completely burn the boats and to just go for it? What is that action step for you? The other thing that I'll leave you with, again, is paying attention to how often you're giving your power away to what other people think. You are in the driver's seat of your life. Feel into that frequency. If you're always giving your power away and saying yes to everybody else and you're putting yourself last, it's not workable. When you take care of yourself, when you choose yourself, it's best for everyone else. Because then you show up in your brilliance. Then you show up as this elevated version of yourself. And this is way beyond affirmations or mindset or anything like that. This is transformation. This is the deep level transformation that is available to you. And, maybe it's not me. Maybe you don't resonate with me. Maybe you resonate with another coach or something else is calling you to implement on. But take that action, because you don't want to be coming around to November next year and saying, oh yeah, I said I was going to do that thing. Yeah, that's nice. I never did it. Right? If I had done that, I would have never left my dad's pharmacy. I was supposed to take over that pharmacy Nope. I knew in my gut that I was meant to do more. I would have never done retreats. If I would have let fear hold me back, I would have never written books. I would have never written this book, right? With 20 other people. That was a big project and that I had never done, but believe in yourself enough to trust your intuition, to trust that impulse that's saying, I'm meant for more. I am worthy of more. One last thing, sorry, this is just coming through as a download. Look at your life and assess, what are you tolerating? What is the bullshit that you're tolerating right now? Whether it's a relationship that's stale, whether it's a job that you know you should have left, whether it's an opportunity to lean into, or something that you have to say no to open up another door. We need to say no to something to say yes to something else, and vice versa. So what are the things that you're no longer willing to tolerate as you step into this next level version of you? Because if you're still watching this video with me, you are a person who's a leader, who is feeling into the frequency and the potency of what I'm activating in you right now. Because you are worthy of a life beyond your wildest dreams. You are worthy of success, love, abundance, partnership, respect. And it starts with you. Your relationship with yourself is mirrored in the external environment. So if you don't trust yourself, you're not going to trust yourself to make that decision, right? These are the internal shifts that need to happen in order for you to shrink that identity, the idea, impulse, implementation gap, so that it's just, I trust myself, this is what I'm doing, let's go, right? It's not sitting around in the waiting room. And it's like another example is, I think of double dutch, like when people are, I used to see that all the time, like on the playground. And it's like, okay, are you going to jump in? Are you going to jump in? And you're just like, oh no, I don't want to get hit with the jump rope. Or you can just go in and, all right, if you get hit with the jump rope, like, you're going to be fine, right? You're most likely, when you were playing double dutch when you were a kid, just imagine you're just like, oh, whatever, okay, try again. And then you just keep doing it and keep doing it. And eventually taking action becomes so seamless that you don't even have to think about it. So this is what I want to leave you with, is just this. Again, this just came through as a download. I trusted it. I'm putting it out there. Whoever this is meant to serve, I hope that it served you. I would love to hear any feedback you have in the comments, anything that was like, boom, that was a truth bomb. I want to hear from you, because I know that there are people out there that are kind of hovering, right? You're hovering in hesitation on a decision in your life, on an opportunity that you know you want to take, or a coach you want to work with, or a book you want to write, or whatever that action is. Take a micro step today. Get off this call, get off this Facebook Live, and go just do it. That is the mark of a successful person. So I hope that this leaves you with just action steps and things that you can do to implement right away in your life to get to that goal that you have, and to start now, not to wait until January 1st or January 15th or whenever everybody else is going to be starting. Start now. So I hope that you all have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on the next Facebook Live.